Hey, Tony.
Hey, sorry about that.
Oh, no worries. Happy New Year.
Yeah, you too. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you. Thanks for joining.
Sure.
Yeah, so I'm excited to hear about this new music that you guys have coming out this summer, right?
Yep, Letters from the Psych Ward, the fifth record.
Oh, nice. What can people expect from it?
Kick-ass rock and roll, just like the other four records. Music.
I'm all about that.
Yeah, music to smash bottles too.
Well, can't go wrong with that. No, your last release, Back to Momo, I have to say that's like a masterpiece. Like one of the
Thank you.
best rock records I've heard in, the past few years.
Yeah, thanks. I wrote that with Todd Youth, and he passed away over 3 years ago, and hence the long break. I didn't know how to continue, if I wanted to continue. But I know he, of all people, would definitely have wanted me to continue. So it just took a while to mourn my friend, man. I love that guy like a brother. So.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, definitely time to grieve and come back with more inspiration.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and the title Letters from the Psych Ward, is that kind of meaning that's going to be kind of a personal album?
Well, they're all personal. I mean, all the lyrics have to do with real things I've been through in life, from death to birth to joy to sadness. But yeah, Letters from the Psych Ward. I was in this therapy session once, and I was like, I'm writing my girl and she's not writing back. And he goes, why would she? That's like Letters from the Psych Ward. And I was like, Letters from the Psych Ward? I'm like, that's the name of my next record. And he just looked at me kind of bewildered.
No, I think it's a good album title.
Yeah, for sure. And definitely had some experience with psych wards in my life. So,
well, I think we all can be like prisoners of our mind sometimes.
Yeah, sure.
Well, I feel like a lot of people say rock is dead, but I feel like the past year, so many awesome rock records came out. Is there a release that you really enjoyed last year?
Anything new? I mean, not that I know of. Like I stay in my comfort zone. Like, it's like I would love to find a kick-ass new rock and roll band, man. Some of the guys that are hitting, it just doesn't do it for me. But I'm very like Blacklist Union is very punk rock influenced rock and roll. I grew up in New York City, seeing the Ramones and GBH, and stuff like that. And but I always loved like AC/DC and Aerosmith, and so we kind of crossed the two. And I'm like these bands have been out for 20 years, but like, of course, Turbo Negro is one of my favorites in the last 20 years. Muse is another amazing band, Muse.
Yeah.
But again, they've been around for years. So if you know of any kick-ass rock bands that'll rock my socks off, I'm more than open to check them out,
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Actually, a couple years ago, in the UK, there was this group that has kind of blown up. It's called New Wave of Classic Rock, and they showcase upcoming bands who draw influences from classic rock and incorporate in their music. And I guess some that have really blown up is Dirty Honey. They're from California.
Oh yeah. I think they toured with Guns N' Roses a little bit. Yeah. I've heard some good things about them. I need to check them out for sure.
Yeah, they just released an album last year, and I have to say it's pretty good. Nice. I enjoyed it.
Nice.
Yeah. And what
That's
are your
great name too, Dirty Honey.
I know, yeah. It kind of rolls off the tongue.
Yeah.
But I feel like the UK is really booming with good rock music right now, at least in terms of new bands.
Yeah, the UK has never wavered on being rock and roll fans. The US is very fickle, but there are pockets in the US like Detroit, the Midwest and stuff, Texas, Florida. Like there's some places that rock and roll will never die. But I think in the US, for the most part, it's all about flash in the pan kind of deal, like But the UK and the Netherlands and even South America, Australia, Japan, like they've never wavered with their love of rock and roll, which is great.
Yeah, they have good taste in music.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm hoping 2022 will continue to thrive with new music, and hopefully live music won't come to a standstill again.
Right. Yeah, that's got to be frustrating for the working bands out there right now. But there's lots of bands that have been, like Guns N' Roses toured pretty successfully, so but that's top of the food chain kind of deal, so it might be a little easier for them than. But then there's my friends in Junkyard, like they did some good shows, and but it's definitely hit everyone. Yeah, so.
Absolutely. I have to ask you, what was your favorite concert memory ever?
Seeing the Ramones. I saw the Ramones a lot growing up in New York, and that was like a religious experience. Especially seeing them in New York. I saw them in LA a bunch of times too. Also Turbo Negro with Hank, the original singer, who just passed away, man. That was mind blowing too. When I went to the Velvet Revolver record release party. That was pretty badass. But when I go to a show, like I want to walk away saying, wow, man, that was kick ass. And I want to feel that for a few days, I remember seeing Motorhead as a kid and my ears rang for 3 days. And I told Lemmy that, and he was like, yeah, sounds about right. But but favorite concert memory, those are the standouts, yeah.
I still listen to that album by Velvet Revolver.
Great record, yeah.
Yeah, it's a shame that they didn't do more music together.
Yeah, well.
But yeah, Slash still kills it on stage, though. I saw him, I want to say like 4 years ago with Miles Kennedy, and he still has it, I have to say.
Yeah, for sure. And Miles Kennedy is another great singer.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah. I think my favorite singer of all time and my biggest influence is Andrew Wood, who sang in Mother Love Bone. Are you familiar with Mother Love Bone?
Yeah. I've heard of them, yeah.
So Mother Love Bone, when Andy died, they got Eddie Vedder and became Pearl Jam. But Mother Love Bone is like the holy grail of rock, man. There's a couple songs that you would recognize from movies and stuff that they did, like one called Chloe Dancer. But Andy Wood was like a prophet of rock and roll. He's like the holy grail of rock to a lot of people, especially me. So.
Oh, I have to dig deeper into his music.
Yeah, he's amazing. Amazing.
I love discovering deep cuts. I find a lot of times when I listen to a band's deep cuts, I enjoy it so much more than the hits.
Man, who's a band like that is my buddies. Have you heard of Saliva?
Yes, yeah.
So Josie is a good friend of mine. I've known those guys for a very long time before they were even signed. But the deep cuts on the Saliva stuff, man, like there's one song, All Because of You, which is on their Back Into Your System record, I believe. But the deep cuts for Saliva are so good. And, people know them for their hits, like especially Click, Click, Boom,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I remember when they were recording that, I was in the studio with them. And like he says in the chorus, I'm coming down with a new style. And it's Buck Wild. And I looked at him, I was like, Buck Wild? He's like, yeah. He's like, I know it's kind of country, but the producer liked it. But that song hit really hard. But they're so great. Josie Scott is one of the most underrated singers in rock and roll. That guy's voice is amazing. He grew up singing in church and stuff.
Oh, wow.
He's
so he probably
great
has
guy.
some soul to his voice.
For sure, and he's going through a hard time. His son died from COVID, last year at 29. Yeah, so God bless him. But
geez, that's a young age to die from COVID. That's awful.
But deep cuts, Saliva, man, check them out for deep cuts because it's so good.
Oh, I definitely will. Thank you.
Yeah.
Awesome. And what else can people be on the lookout for the next coming months?
We're just we're getting a lot of momentum on some of the older stuff, especially back to Momo. And we're just going to be gearing up to start writing and recording. I'm going to be writing Letters from the Psych Ward with Mark Fain, who I started Blacklist Union with, and we did After the Morning, which was our first full-length record. And After the Morning was about Bianca from Betty Blowtorch. Are you familiar with Betty Blowtorch?
Sort of.
So Bianca was this rock and roll vixen who I was madly in love with, and we had this, how do you say that word? Tumultuous love affair. And she died in a car accident on the road in 2001. And so After the Morning was in tribute to her. And I wrote that with Mark Fain, who's a great songwriter. So I'm looking forward to that, returning to kind of our roots. And, me and Todd, Back to Momo was so kick-ass. Forget that I'm in the band. Like, that's the kind of record I want. I like to do the kind of records that I want to hear, man, that are going to pump me up and, like drive faster, fuck harder, drink harder, kind of rock and roll, man, So I'm really, really proud of Back to Momo, but I'm proud of all the records, but I'm looking forward to getting in the studio and recording new stuff. And, songwriting is very therapeutic for me. It's all real stuff. There's no contrived shit to sound cool. It's all real stuff. And when I go through the Blacklist Union songs, it has therapeutic value because it's energy, all that pain and whatever it is stored in you. So I'm able to release it, through music, which is cool. So.
No, yeah, listening to Back to Momo, I can tell you really poured your heart and soul into it. And I think that's why it comes off as authentic and raw energy.
Authentic is key. People can tell without knowing, what's real and what's not. You know what I mean? So.
Absolutely. Well, I really can't wait to, hear what you have coming out, and I really appreciate the time chatting.
Yes, of course. Where are you located?
I'm in Boston.
Ah, Boston. Aerosmith lands.
Yes. Yeah. I'm so mad that they did a free concert outside of their old apartment in Boston.
Right. That was a few years ago, right?
Yeah, and I'm so mad I missed it. Oh, man.
Yeah. I love Aerosmith. During the Just Push Play tour, I bought a cassette of that and went to Kinko's and made backstage passes, and because I had no money back then, and we fucking got in, and we had better seats than Cher and Slash. And I remember Steven Tyler, he walked down the runway, he has like a runway kind of like Jagger does, but for some reason, man, the concert started and he walks down the runway and points directly at me. And I was like, I remember putting my arms in the air like, fuck yeah, but I'm a huge Steven Tyler Aerosmith fan. Especially Rocks. That's part of my routine. I sing pretty much every song off that record. All the early stuff I love, but I even love, I love Get a Grip, and is one of my favorites too. There's a lot of great songs on that. I had a meeting actually with Jack Douglas, who produced all the early Aerosmith, about producing our record, but we can't afford that right now. But I'm a huge Aerosmith fan, so.
Oh yeah, me too. I feel like I know Sweet Emotion is one of their bigger hits, but that guitar riff, it never ceases to get my adrenaline going.
Yeah, what does Steven Tyler always say? Tom Sweet Emotion Hamilton, because I guess Tom Hamilton came up with that initial, that little bass lick in the beginning. He kind of coerced that song into being. So. Oh
yeah, and his birthday was just a few days ago. The radio was just playing Aerosmith nonstop in celebration of his birthday.
Yeah, I'm sure. And then that club, they had a club, Mama Kin's, for a while. That's long gone though, right?
Oh, yeah, I'm not sure. I'll have to look.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, but yeah, I hope I can see them live one day. That would be an awesome show.
Man, I've seen them live a lot. They always deliver. And in fact, we were just talking about Saliva. Saliva did a tour with Kiss and Aerosmith, and opening for Kiss and Aerosmith when Kiss and Aerosmith toured together. And I got to watch Aerosmith from the side of the stage once. And I've never experienced this, and I've been around, man. But there was this like aura of energy around them, man. And it was almost like there was colors to it. There was this energy around them that was incredible, man. And they just deliver every time they deliver. Like, you know, it's like, love them, love Steven Tyler.
Yeah, his energy and vocal range, it's insane.
And his acrobatic fucking flips and all that stuff. You know? He's like 70 now or something. It's like, wow.
Wow. And you would not think that.
Yeah, he's the man. If you rock and roll singer, Steven Tyler, man, you know.
Absolutely. Well, Tony, I really appreciate your time. It's been a blast chatting.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you so much.